Directory is separated out by board members, committee members, and homeowners. Now, this can be highly configured, and most of the time, our customers will roll out the portal with the directory turned off until everyone has the opportunity to opt their information in. So you can see this has phone numbers and email addresses and all the things. If I'm a homeowner or a board member and I don't want that information shown, I can actually turn that off in my profile, which I'll get to in just a second. I also have documents here. Now, the documents themselves, these are all searchable. So if I was looking for, I don't know, CCNRs, I don't know if I have any in this association. I don't have any CCNRs uploaded in here. Maybe I've got a clubhouse. There we go. My clubhouse reservation form is in here. I can go and download that. And these folders, something that I do like to point out is you will see in here that we've got financials for the board or certain items like invoice images. You as board members are going to see more specific information than homeowners do. So all of these file folders have security measures built into them that will limit homeowner view of sensitive information. So you don't have to worry about your homeowner seeing, a whole financial packet or an invoice copy of something if they're not allowed to. So that is the homeowner side of the portal. You know what, before I move on, I am going to go to the profile because I feel like this does sit more on the homeowner side and the way that you're going to use the portal as a homeowner. You can see here as a homeowner, you're going to be able to choose all of your communication preferences. Here are those directory preferences. And this is where you're going to be able to update your address, email addresses, things like that. And you can add new contact information here if you need to. So good stuff there. Now, let's get to the juicy side of the portal and your board stuff that you really care about, because ideally, in a perfect world, you're going to be doing a lot of your work as board members right within this portal space. So we talked a little bit about the architecturals. This is just a different view of those. If I drill into any of these, it's going to pull up that little side panel that I showed you initially where the voting can happen. Invoices, this is really important for you. So you all use Strong Room AvidXchange and you have separate logins to that area to approve your invoices. You're not going to have to do that anymore. You're going to be able to approve your invoices right within this specific space. So I can go into any of these, and what's really funny? I'm an architectural approver in here, but I'm not an invoice approver, but it does the same type of mechanism. So you'll be able to approve, view any of the invoices just by clicking on that little paperclip there. Now I'm showing, we'll pretend that this is an invoice and not a check copy. We've got beautiful copies of invoices here. Play pretend with me. I know that's not a real invoice, but it would live right within there, and you'd be able to see the invoice copy. These are the GL line items. Here are any recent invoices for that specific vendor. And then we've also got any messages. So if someone from Cadden had messaged to you as a board, it would all be listed here. So that same communication lives here. Let's say you have a question on one of the invoices, you could actually send that question right through Vantaca on that same invoice, which is great. The approved decline buttons will actually live somewhere up here. They're very similar to the ones that you saw. And then we've also got work orders. This is where I'm going to start going faster because all of these look pretty much identical, and I'm going to start sounding like a broken record. But here are my work orders. Something that I will point out in this area, which is really cool, you will notice Vantaca is kind of just a fancy spreadsheet. If you are ever looking for something in particular, I'm looking at just the items that are for me. I can go to opened and closed. So I'm getting the complete history, not just the things that I need to do right now. But you can actually search all of these. So if I go to these closed ones, maybe I'll get lucky. I see pipes there. I don't know, or fence. If I just wanted to search fence, I'm able to see all of the fence work orders in this association. So you're getting a nice historical view of your association's work orders or architecturals or invoices. You understand where I'm going with that. Collections, always important. We need to make sure homeowners are making their payments on time. If anyone is in collections, you will have that real-time access to those homeowners in collections. Again, I'm just looking at the items that I need to decision, but I could also go to anyone who is open, and I can also go to closed, which is that history. I can search for anybody. I can grab copies of the attachments or the letters that they were sent. If I'm feeling really frisky one day and I want to play in an Excel spreadsheet, you will all have that ability to export into an Excel spreadsheet as well. And then I've got my homeowner listing here. So the homeowner listing is different than your directory. I do want to point that out. So sometimes people worry if they're on a board and a homeowner has opted out of the directory. Well, how am I going to get a hold of my homeowners as a board member? That will exist in this homeowner area. So I imagine for you as a board, you won't use the directory. You'll use this homeowner listing instead. And again, if you're feeling like you want a lot of data, you can play around with this. You can click within any of these homeowners, and you're actually able to see all of their communication that they have had with the management company. You can see their transaction history. So you're getting a very detailed look at your homeowners if you ever need it, which is really great. What I typically see with this homeowner listing is every once in a while, someone on the board, maybe they're responsible for sending out a newsletter, or I don't know, you want to do your own communication. Back on that homeowner list, I see a lot of board members with that specific role export this so they can actually send it out themselves. Because sometimes people use, I don't know, different platforms to do a newsletter, which is unique to those associations. So continuing down my list of things that you can do as a board member, bank accounts. You will have I don't want to say real-time access to the bank account because it's as of about 2 a.m. the same morning. So it is pretty darn close, but this gets you access to your balances, which is actually what I think is the most important thing. So I can see I've got a whopping, what is that, 16 million in my operating account. I know you all want 16 million in your operating. Hopefully I'm putting it in reserves, not keeping it in the operating account. But you get the idea. You're able to see any of your operating reserve information, all of that right within this screen. Now, you can drill into this, but this is just showing any of your pending items that have not been reconciled yet. So I know there are treasurers out there who get really interested in this information. So you're going to be able to see a lot of good stuff in here. And then we've got our report listing. So we have a really rich report structure, and you'll be able to pull any of these reports at any point in time. So again, I love poking fun at my treasurers. Usually they want to see all that money. They want to see the balance sheet. They want to know what is going on with their association, which is great. That's why we have you as treasurers. You should care about that. But what's really cool about this is if I did want to see maybe my income statement is a perfect example. I want to see it right now. I can hit that view option. and it is going to pull it up for me. I'm going to make it bigger for you because it pulls in kind of small. Now, here's what's kind of interesting. I'm looking as of 11:30 because that's my last period. But I can actually, again, if I wanted to get wild, I can actually pull it as of today and it will show me that. But you all know it hasn't been, the books haven't been reconciled. Like there are a lot of outstanding items. So, lots of interesting things happening between the 1st and the 16th of the month without things potentially being reconciled. Here's what's cool about our reports. Not every single one of them, but a good amount of our reports you can actually drill into. So if I did want to, I don't know, maybe I want to look at this irrigation line item, I can click on that and it will actually pull up all of the entries for that specific line item. So you're able to drill in and do a lot of really good research right from here. That's just one report. I do want to show you another one. I like the AR aging because it does the same type of thing where you can drill into it in a really unique fashion. So very typical AR aging. This one is more of the um, I want to say private. There's a word for it. You all understand what I mean. It is the one where the names aren't listed, just the account number. But here's what's cool about this. If I wanted to know like my 14 homeowners who have not paid their boat slip assessment in this association, I can click on that and it is going to pull up all of those 14 units for me right here. So lots of fun ways you can play with reports. Same type of thing with architectural reports, collections, work order summary, all of that. Great detail. The last couple of things that I want to touch on, we do have, and I'm not even going to click into them because they look exactly the same as the other ones. We have an inspection report, which is typically just the violations before they actually go out the door. And then we have a true violation report. We also have this board task area. This is just breaking down all of the things that you as an individual board member need to do. So I can go into this budget tracking and I can view what my manager was asking of me, which was, oh, here's the most recent thing. Can you look at this? This is actually from Arnie, the accountant. And I can message and I can approve or decline from right here. So rather than you all having to worry about sending a whole bunch of emails, tracking which one was the last email, email can get really frustrating over time, as you all have probably seen. It stays in this one spot and you're able to see all of that history in one area. So the more you use Vantaca for that communication, the better you are as far as the historical information. And then the last thing that we have here are these board member how-tos. So Vantaca has tried to give you as many resources as possible for how to do anything on the portal. So we've broken it out for you. So you've got some on the spot training if you're feeling lost in anything. I don't have it in this portal, but we actually have the same thing built in for homeowners. So if they are feeling lost in doing something, your homeowners can watch these same type of videos, which is really cool. So that is the Vantaca portal, still known as CAD Connect for you all internally. You will use that same language going forward. I will also mention, I showed this to you in the web version, but you will have the same availability on an app. So lots of this functionality you can still do on the app if you are using that CAD Connect app. What I do want to show you is what this will look at. So since you are getting a lot of that communication from Cadden about registering, logging in, like doing all of those things, what the heck is it going to look like for you when you're first registering? I'm going to log out and give you an idea. This is what the sign up page looks like. So you will get this information from Cadden, your account number and your registration key. It will be included in your communication and it will be specific to you as a homeowner. So you'll enter that specific detail and then any of the additional things that you can down here, and you'll just hit sign up. So that's how you'll actually register for the portal. Cadden already knows that you are board members in those associations. So they are setting that up. So when you log in as a board member, it is going to have that board member stuff in the portal. If you have any other homeowners who are living with you who are not board members, they will be able to log in individually, which is great. So you'll have separate areas for yourself for like a non-board member homeowner and a board member homeowner in the same unit. That way you don't share login information and sensitive association detail. So I feel like, Jeff, we should maybe get to some questions.
That sounds great. And then Megan, I just want to add to that. When the portal information is sent out to the homeowners, it's either going to go by email if an email address is already in the system, which you can click a hyperlink and get taken straight to this to make it even easier. If there's no email address on file, then we're going to be sending written communication out to everybody with those details. So yes, Megan, we did have a couple questions. So let's see here. Transaction history. Deborah had written in here. Will they be able to see their prior history or just from the point forward from when we upload into Vantaca? And it is going to be a balance forward item. So we are actually going to be pulling the data from Caliber, putting it into Vantaca right at the transition date, so we have all the information as up to date as possible. But we still have the records on the old software, so we can pull back and look at the history if and when that's needed.
I will actually add something to that. If you have homeowners who are in collections, actually, I think there's a little bit more detail for the homeowners who are in collections, just as an FYI.
Great point. Let's see here. One question goes into, I believe, kind of what you just touched on, Megan, was, how do homeowners get notified, and is there any sort of training? Just like you had showed, on the board portal, there are those helpful videos for homeowners as well. And the communication that we're going to send out is going to have links directly to those videos, so they'll be able to, have quick access to those and not have to find it in the portal. So they'll be able to see things like how to change my contact info or how to submit a request right off the bat. There's another question about the action items, Megan, and how are they, I guess, displayed for the manager on our side? Is it just a list of 1 through however many there are? Is it sorted by association? Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
I love that question. That's really fun. So it actually depends on how the user at Cadden wants to use Vantaca. So the way that it's displayed on this home dashboard, and I'm going to make this slightly smaller so you can get a better idea of it. I'm sorry if that makes it too tiny on your side. But see this number of items, like for access request, I have 1 item. That on the home dashboard, the whole point is to just give that user an idea of what they have to do. It's not really breaking it out by association. If they wanted to break it out by association, they can actually go to this all action items area. And that's when I am, at this point in time, I'm only in Dunder Mifflin, but I could go to AFC Richmond and I could see the action items there. I could go to DC Valley. So there are a lot of different ways that the user at Cadden can change the way that they are seeing this information, which is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple of these questions on here. Let's see. Now, we looked at board members and committee members being able to vote on their on their side of the system. And there's a question of, can homeowners have a vote on there as well, like elections or annual meetings? And to my knowledge, that's not an option, but we do have a solution for you on those areas. But Megan, is that correct? It's basically for board members and committees only, correct?
That is correct. I think you're reading our minds, though. I think the goal is to get all of the voting inside of Vantaca. But I think we've noticed over time when it comes to things like your elections and association level business where your homeowners have to have that vote, each state and their legislation is very specific. So there are a lot of intricacies to being an election type voting system. So I would stick with Cadden's recommendation on how you all do your elections.
And another question, I think, goes back to the board member portal side. You had a list of not necessarily the directory, but all of the homeowners. Will that include and separate renters if they're also listed in Vantaca?
Ooh, that is actually a really good question. Let's go look at that homeowner list. Okay, oops, sorry. You can actually, so see this tenant name, email, phone. So it's not showing up right in this area at this point in time, but you can actually add that as a column in here. So yes, it can show up and we can add that detail in here. So this will be specific for you as board members. It is not listed in the directory. The directory is truly just homeowners.
Great, thank you. Question kind of more internal process here was, will the information for board meetings and how that's distributed change? And not necessarily, we're still going to gather the information on the management side and get that to all of our board members in advance. So you won't have to search through the portal and find the reports yourselves. We'll still deliver that to you. I think what the nice advantage is that you can view these reports and get more detail whenever you wish outside of those board meetings as well. And then the question came in about pictures for violations. Can they be taken and added to the violation and sent to the homeowner?
Heck yes, they can. Let me actually go to a violation and I'll show you. So the CADN, like inspectors and management team, I wish there was a way for me to actually show you. I'm like showing you on my hand. They will actually work in a manager app that will allow them to do inspections on the go. And in that inspection app through Vantaca, they're able to take those pictures as they're doing the inspection. So the answer to that is yes. And then for you as board members, if you're wanting to see those, you'll be able to click on the photo. I'm sorry, on the eyeball, and it will drill you into this a little bit further. I feel like I never know what I'm going to see with my demo data. Let's see what kind of picture we took with our, oh, and of course, this one, they didn't take a photo. But if they had taken a photo with this specific letter, usually the template will have it land in this upper right-hand corner of the photo. That is very specific to the management company, so it depends on how Cadden wants to send it. Now, here's what's cool. For you guys as board members, you're going to be able to, when you hit next, it will actually show you a big version of the photo. And your homeowners will be able to see this same thing on their side. So they're going to be able to see the letter as well as the big blown up photo on their side.
Yeah, that's a great question. And to your point, yes, our pictures are going to show up on the bottom right of the letter, but very
Here we go. I'm like, they're always in a different spot depending on management company. Our fake version lives in the upper right hand.
Megan, do you have anything to add before we close up?
No, you know what? I am going to say someone asked a really good question, and I feel like it's because they understand the software. After the photo uploads, does Vantaca auto-generate the violation letter and feed it into the workflow? Why, yes, that is exactly what happens. So you understand the system fully. That is the purpose, to make the lives of everybody involved here get better. We really want to, community management, being on board, it is no walk in the park. So the easier we can make it on everybody, the better.
Yeah, thank you for catching that. I didn't see that pop in there right
It
at the end.
just happened, like right after we ended the questions. But thank you so much for the opportunity to show you Vantaca. This is, it's been my baby the last 5.5 years. So I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait for you all to have a great experience with it.
Wonderful. Megan, I appreciate your time, and board members, yours as well. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us again. If you joined us the first round as well, for any board members that weren't able to make it tonight, or if you want to watch this again, we are going to make this video available on our YouTube page. So once that is uploaded and ready, we'll send a communication out to all board members so you can view this and share it with other directors along the way. That being said, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.